Welcome, Queen. Are you interested in building a brand, a personal brand? Well, if so, then today's video is for you. And if you say, nah, not really, then guess what? Today's video is still for you because even if you're not interested in building a personal brand for business sake, meaning to generate revenue income, to have passive income in some shape, form, or fashion, then I want you to understand that you're still building a personal brand. You're just not getting paid for it. Because when people hear your name, there is a thought, there's an idea, there's an image, there are perceptions that come to their mind. So I challenge you to consider, what do people think about when they hear your name? Now, if you're interested in building for business sake, then one thing I would share with you is that you're going to get the advice, if you haven't already, that you should build using your name. And when people tell you that, they're telling you that they want you to build, or that you should build rather, with your first name, not your last name. And if you think about how I close my YouTube videos, if you're familiar with my channel, then you will know that I say either Sam or Coach Sam. And Sam is my last name. And you may be saying, okay, that's interesting because typically Sam is a boy's name. And you are correct. It typically is a boy's name. But again, it is my last name. And I chose strategically to build with my last name because my first name, y'all, it was a name that was chosen by my father. And my father chose my first name for me, knowing that my mother did not want me to be named that. She had picked out a name for me already. And you may be saying, well, what is your first name? Is it a bad name? No, it's not. My first name is Charlene. And so I've looked that name up, and it doesn't have a bad meaning at all. In fact, it has a very beautiful meaning. But going forward, I knew that, hey, I don't want to build with that, my first name, because of what it symbolizes. So, typically I would talk to you about love and talk to you about dating and red flags. And so when I think back and I hear my mom tell that story, although she tells it with a smile, in real time she was very upset about finding out that after she came to, because she ended up being unconscious at one point during the delivery process, that my father had chosen willingly to name me after an ex-girlfriend. So I just want you to sit and think about that for a minute, because we think about disrespect and sometimes we don't think about the different forms that disrespect comes in. But if you say to someone, hey, I don't want something to happen, and this person knowingly and fully is aware and understands that you've communicated something that you don't like, something that you did not want to happen, and they do it anyway, well, that's disrespectful. And as I decided that, hey, I'm going to lunch, I'm going to have a business, I had to decide, do I want to just take the advice that everyone's giving me because they built personal brands and they built them with their first name? Excuse me. Excuse me, guys. I should say queens. Or do I want to go ahead and build with my last name? Has it even ever been done? And so I did some research on it, and I came to find that yes, there are very successful companies that have been launched that are still in business today, and they have used a name, but they use their last name. Are they personal brands? No. But the reality is that although it's not popular, it can be done, and it has been done. So that's my story. That's my why on why I chose to build with my last name. And so I encourage you to think as you move forward, as you go through your day, as you go through your life, what images, what ideas, what thoughts do you want to be associated with your name, with your life, with your legacy? And since this is going to be a series, stay tuned for part two, because in part two, what I'm going to be talking about is why I chose my company name, Exalted Royalty, and what that means.